Yo, welcome to the best podcast of the welcome to the best podcast on the planet. This is the Crossover Sports Podcast, episode 47. I rock it out with my homegirl Amina. Matt and Trey will be in soon, hopefully. So Amina, go ahead and introduce yourself. Cool, man. As we always start the show, we're gonna start it off with our crossover hot takes. We're gonna start with something that just broke a couple hours ago. It seems that Ezekiel Elliott has finally found a way to play come next week because he and his team filed a restraining order against the NFL to stop them from instituting his 6 game suspension. Ezekiel. Mm-mm. I mean, go ahead and take off. What you think about this? Breaking news. Crossover hot takes. Take off. You there? Amina, you there? All right, maybe she didn't hear. Amina, Ezekiel, Ezekiel Elliott filed a restraining order against the NFL so he can be able to play next week when the game starts. So, what's your thoughts? Take off.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Um, I haven't been really following it. I did sort of when it first came out. I read up on other articles about really that way, but um, it does show you who you know and your position in areas like situations that other people put in their connection. It shows, competence. I mean, he really had to was suspended for 6 games. The reason why. So, other interfering with that, from what you're saying, it shows that conflict of interest seems to be maybe paying off. Ones or the NFL in general, summoning or discipline service, um, off the up. So, you know, it's down to good. Like, what's something the out of the like out of the clear before he had to possibly miss a good deal of the season. So I'm not understanding why, but I'm not in agreement with a Fowler really career concerning, but like I said, I be much with that's what hey got on it. Don't you say from the two quarterback stuff or anything.
Well, I got mixed feelings about this, right? Because the NFL suspended him, right? It happened in Columbus, Ohio. He wasn't even an NFL star yet. That aside, uh, they suspended him. Now, they didn't even file a restraining order on behalf of Tom Brady last year when he was fighting the NFL suspension. I mean, it still wound up being the same thing. Tom Brady got suspended, and I do think Ezekiel Elliott will be suspended. That's the reason why he's filing following filing this lawsuit. Not this lawsuit, getting this restraining order filed to stop the NFL from suspending him so he can play. Because ultimately, I think what's going to happen is he's going to lose in court, just like Tom Brady lost in court last year. It's funny how this is mirroring Tom Brady's stuff, right? So he's going to get suspended. You know, he might play the first 2 or 3 games, but he's going to take that suspension. He's going to take that L. You know, if the courts didn't rule in favor of Tom Brady, they surely won't rule in favor of Ezekiel Elliott, no matter the star that's on his helmet. Just like it didn't matter that that Paul Revere or whoever the Patriots mascot was on the logo, and the logo didn't help him. It won't help them. Generally, when it comes to sports, the courts rule in favor of the organization. We've seen that in college football. And so it'll remain the same defense with the NFL. Unfortunately, you know, this is what happens when you have a weak NFLPA and you agree to the collective bargaining agreement, which allows Roger Goodell to be judge, jury, and executioner, you know. Obviously, hindsight is 50-50, but I bet they won't do that again. Now, Ezekiel Elliott, you know, my man, you know, you've been proclaiming your innocence and everything, but, you know, you whatever happened, I'm not God. I don't know what happened, but whatever happened, you know, the NFL says they have some evidence that shows that you did it, and so that's why they suspended you for six games. I was about to say 6 months, 6 games, and you know you get. Unfortunately, you get what you get. It is what it is. Like I said, I just ran through the legal defense. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not Courtney, but this is what happens. This is what's going to happen. He's going to lose, and whether I'm an Eagles fan or not, he's going to lose. And you know he's just going to be suspended. And when he gets suspended, you know it'll be an unfortunate loss for the Cowboys and the NFL. But he's going to get suspended. There's nothing else that's going to be different. This is what happens when you're judge, jury, and executioner. And unfortunately for Ezekiel Elliott, he's on the wrong side of this because unfortunately he did something that's been the bane of the NFL's existence for a while now: domestic violence hitting women. I don't know when athletes, especially football players, are going to learn you can't beat up a woman and expect to keep playing on the field. The NFL has to cater to everybody. And it's not a good look when they try to cater to women and they got players beating up women. It don't work. It don't work. And this is why you're going to get suspended, Ezekiel Elliott. Cowboy fans, you might as well get ready because that 6-game suspension, whether it comes at the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, or the end of the season, it's coming. I mean, you can jump back in if you want.
And I feel what you say. I'm good. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear.
Yes, sir. I feel what you was saying. But like I said, I don't think people don't read the articles I've read, so I really don't have much to say. But if he did a crime, basically, that's what I would say.
Okay. All right, so moving on to the actual other topics on the crossover hot takes. So I mean, it's the you know how when players try and do first and foremost. Hold up, I forgot this because I need to say that. Congratulations to Serena Williams and their fiance on baby girl. I thought it would be a baby boy. We were all wrong. It's a baby girl. Congrats to Serena Williams, the Williams family, and the O'Hannon family. family. I think that's her husband's last name. Guy who founded Reddit. Shouts out to all y'all. Congratulations on the baby girl, the new princess of the tennis world. Congratulations. Uh, what else? Yeah. All right. So that's our first congratulations. Yeah. Yes. So Amina, is the stick to let me get my thoughts together. The sports narrative officially dead now. You know, we're in this new era of woke athletes. Is the stick to sports era dead? Your thoughts?
I like the whole air. This is um, for as long as I mean, we on scene with the the years I to the fact that we know about history things. No one said that it seems to see the this place is nobody told how it's 67 to and he wanted to be in work 50 years ago. What in the East players back of HIV/AIDS them to stay with it himself he said that HIV no one told him. What else happened? He's like in 2001 they were talking about now the recent situation 2000 in men were children 2010, but within the last 8 years, just LeBron James, he's the years, the music, and I think he's supposed to in the past. No one has expressed. So my day, it just started with really podcast with people talking sports. And I don't think it has to do so much with the fact of football. Like, I guess how maybe that's one anything. But there's one that frustrated something that has been seen by sports players in years, very long time. Um, a culture shift. People that wear things that were not talked about, or people still come to terms with. The people to all the justice because people say, I mean, look at the entertainment industry back in the 80s. Project had a weird role. They came together for AIDS and other things going on after. They did a whole nobody with the music from well like and other stations like stick to sports of the big sport side right have activism and the trade. It's ball touchdowns with for guys, but people care about the team. And people can't stay up for something even.
Okay.
And so, oh, what they do stuff, situations, and it's fine for like testing. And where it should be out. So,
Yeah. So I think the stick to sports narrative is very much dead. We live in an era of athletes having very, very increased platform through social media, and now these athletes can make their money instead of just relying on these shoe companies and basketball, football, tennis. They can make their money through social media, and now they have an increased platform. So it behooves these athletes to speak up now on injustices that they see. I mean, these injustices were always taking place. Racism, discrimination, all that has always existed. But now we have video cameras and social media, Instagram, uh, and all that to capture the things that happen to people. And now, just like it was back in the day when Martin Luther King was alive, you know, was back in the day, the images and everything have shocked the nation's conscience, and in my opinion, has spurred some of these athletes to action. And it's amazing what has happened as these people come out, and the basic defense, if you will, for a lot of people that don't want to hear it is, oh, you should stick to sports. You make millions of dollars. If you don't like this country, then get out. That seems like the common defense. So get back in your corner, keep making baskets, keep scoring touchdowns. We like you better when you just play and work and you don't have an opinion. But it's hard for these athletes to keep their opinions to themselves. I've said on this podcast numerous times, these athletes are not robots, they're humans. Before they were playing for the Oakland Raiders, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Philadelphia Eagles, the 76ers, or the Phillies, they were kids from whatever town, city in a different country they were from, and they saw these injustices, and they may not have had the voice, but now they have the voice, and it behooves them to speak up. And if you don't like it, it's not that something's wrong with these athletes, it's that something's wrong with you. Sports is the great thing that brings us all together. Sports knows no culture, knows no racism, knows no discrimination. It used to be. And the prime way, sports was a prime way for people to demonstrate, for different things to demonstrate racism. Jackie Robinson, before Jackie Robinson, there was another, but the color barrier wasn't broken in MLB until the 60s. This was the different things. NBA, all these other places, they all have their different leagues. And now the fact that most of the major sports are made up of largely an African American population is a testament to the progress that we've made, but also about how far we have to go. Now we're gonna get into this a little bit later about Colin Kaepernick and everything, and how his protests and all that will be remembered. So I'm not gonna blow my load now, but this is the stick to sports narrative is dead, and anybody that's saying that needs to reevaluate their situation. It's hard to escape now. There is no escape from reality anymore. long as there's social media, long as there's movies, as long as there's people affected by it, you're going to be affected by it, and it's going to start seeping into sports. And it needs to, because that's where activism started at in sports. So moving right along. So Amina, is the anthem protest effective because it interrupts a prime arena for people to escape because it's affecting their sports? Go ahead.
Like the whole thing where they just
Yeah, so some people are saying that the reason why the anthem stuff is effective is because they use sports as an escape, but they can't escape the reality because you have these African American players saying, I'm not going to stand for the flag until the change happens, and that's why this protest is effective because it causes people to have a conversation and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. What you?
they, I know some people in life that are not watching any sports, not just the NFL. Lifelong, they sport. Some people I know have the shows they're not just just football. Different situations very before. Similarly, I support what's going on. I love it, but at the end of the day, this was not an organized effort. It was not thought out. It was not planned, and the repercussions of that have been organized. Into a situation that was more emotional, like joining a movement. There's so much a movement. So it's a because topics just out and open that need to be discussed. It's because it's showing people colors that have been buried for many, many years. I think it is because it's not getting involved. Many said it had been better. And that's us as a people today that social active, and we're not organized like we once were things back in the day. Back in the day, you had even the Panther Party, for example. They like to say D, but they came together in unity. SNCC, CORE, NWCC, all of them. But in this situation, there's no set goal, there's no mission, there's no principle behind it. So it's no vision for the people that do it. So it's really about years now.
I don't know what happened to Amina. Should be back hopefully. Yeah. I think the anthem protest is effective. Because it definitely does. I agree. It definitely does interrupt what people their primary way of escape, which is watching sports. And unfortunately, it has to be like this because it's effective. I mean, it's an effective way of protesting. See, and Matt just got here. Matt made a statement earlier that not in this podcast, but probably a couple podcasts ago, or somebody might not have been Matt. Somebody said that protests are supposed to be inconvenient, and we all watch sports because we like our different teams. It gets a reaction out of us, but like I said in the earlier topic, before these athletes were the people that you see on your television screens or you pay to go see, they were the little boy from Philadelphia. They were the little boy, little girl from Philadelphia, the little boy, little girl from Baltimore, the little boy, little girl from Los Angeles, the little boy, little girl from Oakland, the little boy, little girl from someplace in Missouri, someplace in South Dakota, someplace in North Dakota, someplace in the Dominican Republic, from Cuba, from England, from Bahrain, from all these different places, and they have a voice because of social media. And the fact that this anthem protest, I called this a couple weeks ago. This anthem protest is going to get bigger. It's gotten bigger now that white players are starting to join in. Aaron Rodgers even said, and even Aaron Rodgers can't deny the fact that Colin Kaepernick isn't playing because of his protest, and he sees that the owners are basically using him as an example. That should tell you something, right? And so the anthem protest is very effective because it's making people uncomfortable. And that's the one way, and that's how you get protests. When you make people uncomfortable, you start a conversation, and you get people to see that, oh my goodness, these people are actually taking this seriously. Sure, they may not be, very well versed on the issues and everything. And some people like Jason Whitlock and Sage Steele have called people out and been rightfully called out themselves for even saying something about stuff. And these athletes deserve to be able to bring the platform to what they want to bring the platform on and bring stuff to light. And that's the way it should be. That's the great thing about sports. And you know what? We should be doing something about this. It's not up to these athletes. These athletes are highlighting it. And now it's up to us. And I think the anthem protest is very effective because of that. So Matt said, we'll let him in. So Matt, we're on. Do you think the anthem protest is effective because it's interrupting the escape from the world, people's escape from the real world? What do you think?
Well, let's take it on the historical side of things. First of all, is anything? Let's remember. Well, before let me back up a little bit. I understand the escape part, and I get it, and I understand it. For a day or two, or a day, you just get away from from the world and just like your mind, declutter your mind or have some type of activity towards so you can enjoy yourself and come back later with a refreshed mind. However, now if someone's being oppressed so much so they can't take it anymore, wouldn't you have wouldn't you like, you know what? I need help. I need someone to listen to my pain, my fear, my anxiety, and everything that goes along with it because it's unheard. And if no one's listening to me, someone has to. Now, that being said, I'm just getting my head together here because my 5-year-old nephew is playing music and stuff. This is not new. I don't understand why Americans are acting like as if this is a new phenomenon. It is not new at all. You can go back to Muhammad Ali when he protested against Vietnam. In fact, a lot of people protested against Vietnam in the first place. And also, even in the music industry, there were protest songs. We could go down the list. Edwin Starr's War, the whole entire album of What's Going On. That pretty much, even though it was a protest song, but that song spoke in so many different languages, in so many different messages, not languages, messages, to where as though this is what's going on in the black community around the world, and there's too much in this war. It's not going on. There's too much war going on. So that's another thing. So when Muhammad Ali said that ain't no Viet Cong call me nigga. I mean, it sparked an outrage. Of course, he got stripped of his titles and he got it back later down the road. That's one. Even when I forgot those two names already. Those two Americans that won the gold medal and had a Black Power salute, that caused controversy. And now we're here 40 years later, and we're back to this again. This is nothing new. And it's a platform. Like, this is a social, not so. The platform is there. Say, hey, there's so many causes for breast cancer, prostate cancer, so many cancer research, and everything else that goes along with it. There's so much stuff going on. You bring awareness to those things. You bring awareness. The NFL brought awareness to domestic violence. The NFL brought awareness to so many things, but yet when it comes to the very thing that is ripping this country apart, one man brings it up and you don't like it. It says something about you. It says something about your message. It says something about your bottom line. And in fact, yes, we see protesters protesting about a thing that, that they don't like. Well, that's what's going on, and you feel uncomfortable about it. You have two ways to go about it. Either you can ignore the problem, put it under the rug, put it in a hole, so dig up a hole, put it in the hole, cover the hole, and act like it's nothing happened, or you can do something about it. You can say, you know what? There's something going on here. There's something that's messed up. There's something that's effed up here. And you know what? There's something that's got to be done. Change has got to be made. We cannot sit here and act like as if our stuff don't stink. Okay, I have a 5-year-old around somewhere. Our stuff don't stink. Okay, we can't act like that. We can't act like as if we're the big bag. We're the greatest country in the world. I'll be honest with you. We're no longer the greatest country in the world. We suck. Okay? We don't take care of our people. We don't take care of the citizens of this country that's supposed to be taking care of the poor, the children, the military, etc. I mean, we could go down the line. However, we're protesting in the National Football League. We're protesting in the National Football League and the National Basketball Association. You won't see it in Major League Baseball because it doesn't lend itself to it. Okay. But let's be clear. If they're saying something and the NFL is saying these players are saying something, and you telling these people, well, y'all just stick to your job. But excuse me. There's a lot of injustice going on, and knowing that there's over 2,000, 3,000 NFL ball players, and they're speaking almost, but not really, in unison about there's something going on, there's injustice going on, and we will not stop and we will not rest until something is done. Not, okay, so we're going to sit here and talk about it. We're going to sit here having a discussion, which is a start in its own right. But action has got to be made. And if any of these players are saying, like, look, we're bringing this to your attention. We're bringing it ahead. And in one man, unfortunately, cost like no one's signing it. Which, by the way, Philadelphia Eagles, please sign that man because Nick Foles is injured. Okay, my thing is simply this: he brought attention to something that nobody liked, particularly middle white America. That did like, you know what? Until you yes, you are uncomfortable. Until you want to, if you want to feel comfortable again, if you want to enjoy your Sundays again, and if you want to relish in the tradition of fall that is American football, if you want that back, you must take care of business first before you do anything. Business before pleasure. The business side is people getting screwed over left and right. I got some words about Houston in a minute, but people getting screwed over left and right, and yet you want your football. Before you want your football, let's talk about progress before we do anything else. Progress first, football second.
So true, so true. Another thing before I move on, I have the final thoughts on this. I just want to talk about, since Matt brought it up and I forgot. I totally slipped my mind until right now. Let's talk about the asinine concept of sticking to sports, or staying in your place and just letting the opportunity to speak up past your mind. First and foremost, let's be honest. Unless you have it in your contract in which you can't participate or have an opinion, unless it's specifically in the contract or in your job description that you are not supposed to have an opinion, as long as you are breathing on this earth, as long as you have a brain, and as long as your employer or whoever, whether you're doing it on the employee time, because I know Amina doesn't necessarily agree with doing it on the employee's time and having an opinion, doing it when you're supposed to be working and making political statements or whatever on the employer's dime. So we'll leave that one out. But some people do work in conservative places, so we won't even approach that. But as long as you are on this earth, you have a purpose, and everybody's purpose should be, I need to be doing something to make this world a little bit better. It shouldn't take a Colin Kaepernick kneeling for us to, all of a sudden say, oh my God, I've all of a sudden decided that, racism all of a sudden exists or police brutality exists. These things have always existed. It's just that we have technology now, right? And if it makes you uncomfortable, good. That's what it's supposed to do. Do something about it. Make a positive change. Don't go on social media and be a keyboard warrior, or be like Sage Steele, Jason Whitlock. Get on an interview or use your platform to degrade the stuff. Instead of doing that, do something positive. Be like Colin Kaepernick. Donate money. Go be a mentor. Do something. Do something to make a change. This stuff wouldn't exist if people would speak up. As long as we got people that believe and will show up in different places to defend the statue, to defend traitors to this country, to say, oh my God, I value a flag more than I value the lives of human beings, whether they be of a different hue than me or not. That is the problem. That is the problem. We value so many more things over human life. And if it takes people kneeling during the national anthem, heck, if they want to take a knee, put the American flag under their knee so they can literally be kneeling on the flag, so be it. If that's what it takes to get y'all to get the attention there, then do it. I'm all for it. I'm never going to tell anybody how to protest. You know what? They got a right to protest. It's not illegal. We don't live in a dictatorship. We live in America, and they have a right to do it. It's not a crime. No matter how much anybody wants to feel it's a crime, it's not a crime. So moving right along to Hurricane Harvey. I guess I'm gonna let Matt start because I know he's raring to go, but he just said it. Go ahead, Matt. But before Matt goes, we send our prayers, condolences to the people, to the 39 families or more that have lost loved ones. It's devastating what this hurricane has done. It seems like every year we're talking about a 100-year storm that hits the Gulf Coast or New Jersey or North Carolina, and it's unfortunate every time. I just want to get that out there before we go in on Harvey. Go ahead, Matt.
First off, any natural disaster is hard to it's hard enough. Of course, here in Philadelphia, we've been through Superstorm Sandy. Seeing where we're sitting geographically in to the topography of the city, Philadelphia sits at a valley, sits at a very high valley, so everything's going to drain. Houston is built for flooding. Unfortunately, it took too much. It took too much, and of course the levees break and everything else. But the fact that a lot of people, a lot of things have come together and try to help each other out, help out the fellow man. So far, I haven't heard anything super crazy as far as as far as people screwing other people, which gets me to my next point. It's like as if Christianity, for some strange reason, has been taking steps backwards and backwards and backwards. Now, I'm not going to go full, total, whatever, but it is when you are a pastor of a mega church and you are worth around $40 to $60 million, and the people around you that live around your area, particularly in the fourth largest city in the country, that is Houston, Texas, are you telling me you're not gonna you didn't open your church, formerly the Compaq Center, the house that Akeem Olajuwon built, because remind you, that's a vineyard you did not plant, Pastor Osteen. Let's start there. That's a vineyard you did not plant. Your daddy did that. It was in another spot, but we'll leave that alone. The fact of the matter is, we all know the place formerly known as the Summit holds 16,000 people. Now, we've seen Katrina, unfortunately, for what it is, open up the Louisiana Superdome. And I know somebody personally that has been in the Superdome, told me the conditions and everything else. Katrina I'm trying not to use four-letter words here, but it was coordinated wrong. Since Katrina, it seems as though we go, okay, better by it, but Joel Osteen should not even have to, be asked to open the shelter. If people are going to look for help, the first place they look to is the church. That's the first place they look at. It is the pillar of the community, and they know full and darn well if anything happens, that's the first place they go. And look, and instead of opening the doors like you're supposed to, helping the community out, spread the message, spread the gospel through a disaster. Instead, you closed the doors because there was flooding. And looking at some videos, there's some people who actually went to the church and literally video and everything else and said there's nothing. If there's flooding, it's not much of it. Little of any. There's little flooding. But it was enough. So hey, you know what? Bring people in. But the response was bad, and then when you try to explain yourself, that man just made it a whole heck of a lot worse. A whole heck of a lot worse. Even the Houston Astros baseball team, who had to relocate their game to Tampa, right? Even the Astros say, you know what? All the money that we're making on the series is going straight to disaster relief in Houston. Even the Houston Astros got it right. And I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure if they use Minute Maid Park yet as a shelter. I don't know, but that place is grass, so it's a whole different story versus the Superdome and turf. But they could be using Reliance State. That's the grass too. Or if it's still up, the Houston Astrodome. But the Astrodome, I think, is dangerous to be in, and it's like falling apart. But dude, you had a church. The first place we'll look at was a church. That's the first place that we're looking at. You did not open up those doors in time. You did not prep in time, and in fact, the response was so slow. It made you, just Pastor Joel Osteen, look bad and pretty much giving every lot. And it solidifies the fact that you're in it for the money. Unfortunately, it is sad. It's a lot of smaller places, a lot of smaller churches that's doing just as much work, if not more than you, kind sir. So I say this to you. You need to do better. You need to look yourself in the mirror. And also, is this something that your father would do? That's another story. Is this something that your father would do? He started at that spot. You just took the spot and you made it grow. Bottom line. I'm done.
All right, Matt covered it as far as that Joel Osteen stuff. Let me just say, as I said before, what's happening down in Houston, and from what I'm hearing, because I have a friend in downtown Houston, as far as the city area, it seems that everybody is, they might not be doing well, but with the water and the alligators and the fire ants that have adjusted to the water and the different states that are in the water and everything, it seems that the city itself is doing all right. That's just because I have a friend who lives in downtown Houston, and she says that they're doing pretty okay in Houston, the city itself. Now, it's the burbs and all these places where you see these different, as always happens, the suburbs get it a little bit worse than the big city does. And unfortunately for Houston, specifically West Houston, they're going to be running out of water and food probably by the end of this holiday weekend, which is unfortunate. So we here at the Crossover Family don't really have a particular charity that we'll say donate to, but do whatever you can to help those people. Send water, send food. I don't specifically have a favorite charity that I would say give to, but give your, do what you can. If you're in a church, you're in a mosque, whatever, do something to help those people. It's unfortunate, even though the Gulf of Mexico and Texas get a lot of storms all the time, but it's unfortunate what happened to people. People have lost their loved ones, people have lost their homes. It's very unfortunate. And, like I said, Matt said everything on the Joel Osteen thing. I'm just going to go in on our government. First off, kudos to the government for learning a lesson from Katrina and being better, well organized. To them, I feel like if we're gonna be derogatory to our government and the current holder of the office, we gotta be positive and give them good feedback. They did a organized job. President Trump didn't botch it when he went down there. He botched it a little bit by talking about crowd size, but largely outside of that, he had a relatively okay speech. And then Mike Pence came down there and played the role of Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen and cleaned it up and made it better and everything yesterday. But if we're gonna give them positive feedback, so there's the positive feedback for this week. I got to give them negative criticism for what they did a couple of weeks before that when they killed Obama's executive order, which funded FEMA and made sure that there was money to provide for hurricanes in the South and in Florida and in different places for disasters. And unfortunately, President Trump cut that a few weeks ago for money to build his wall, right? And that money right now, I think they said FEMA only has a $4.8 billion budget, and with Obama's executive order, they actually had $30 billion. So they lost $25 million or $25 billion to the wall. So take that for what you want. That's a fact. You can look it up. He did that a few weeks ago. So it's amazing. I marvel at the work of nature, how these things can continually happen, but still be so devastating. And it's unfortunate that so many people didn't heed the warning. And obviously, it's hard to evacuate a city of close to 7 million people. But it's a shame. And all I can really say is we need to do what we can for these people. Pray, donate money if you can, do something, even something as small as adopting the animals that were rescued and have no owners, something like that. Just do something. Whatever you can, just do something, please. So moving right along, Matt. Yeah, I know you don't really care about basketball in September. You want to wait till next month, but we got some basketball stuff to talk about. So Isaiah Thomas is out until the All-Star break. So Matt, and there's nobody else here that's all basketball but me. But so Matt, do you think the Cavs are doomed if they have to rely on LeBron James and whatever else they have to rely on until February? Go ahead.
They ain't doomed. They are not doomed at all. In fact, they are not doomed. Oh, jeez Louise. They are not doomed right now because the fact is, number one, they got so far Derrick Rose, who's old as dirt. I think they still got Tristan Thompson on their roster. Jeez, call me more stops. Oh God. I lost my train of thought for a second. The Cavaliers are going to be fine. Albeit the most overrated, overhyped team in the NBA right now, and it just lost the championship. So, seeing as though that now the Cavaliers gotten damaged goods, they're gonna be fine. Depends on the length, depending on the length of the injury, they'll be fine. I mean, they're going to hold serve in the East. And LeBron James is going to do what LeBron James do. However, albeit the fact that he won't have a Robin next to him. So whoever that Robin is, whoever LeBron will have to learn if he has it, which he has it at the age of 32, 33 years old. If you ain't got the killer instinct now, you will never have it. You will never have it. You need that killer instinct in the NBA. If you don't have it, you will not survive. So let's see. For him to carry a team by himself is nothing new. You want to be like AI? Here you go. Serves up.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Matt. I think the Cavaliers will be fine. I think that they have to wait to February for Isaiah Thomas. It's unfortunate because I'm sure they were hoping to allow LeBron James to rest, but it doesn't seem like he'll be able to rest, especially if Isaiah Thomas isn't ready for the start of the season in mid to late October. So, which it doesn't seem like he will be. So just be LeBron, Amon Shumpert, Tristan Thompson, and Derrick Rose, really. Just leading the team. And Kevin Love, too. Just leading the team. And, it's going to be. Kevin Love definitely now has his bigger role now. Now he's the second best player on the team, 1B, if you will. So he's finally getting that expanded role that he wanted. Unfortunately, it came at the expense of Kyrie Irving, but he's got that new thing, and I think that I think we'll see the emergence of Kevin Love, and I think that will keep Cleveland afloat until about maybe February when Isaiah Thomas comes back, and luckily he'll come back to help them get into playoff form and make another finals run. That's just my pick. I'm not ready to fully pick the NBA season. I got a whole month before I have to worry about that. But, I think that the Cavaliers will be fine. I think they might be second or third now. They'll definitely be second. But they might drop down to third without Isaiah Thomas and just relying on LeBron James. But they'll still be a top two, top three team in the East to me. It's not like they're not going to make the playoffs now. So, I think that they'll be fine. Matt, go ahead and do your baseball update. I know it's probably dominated by Harvey, but go ahead.
Well, I did mention in passing about the Astros have to move their game to Tampa and everything else, but I want to put more emphasis on seeing as though that it is September 1st. It is the last month of the baseball season, which means it's pennant race season. So with that being said, right, here you go. Couple things we'll look out for. Number one, September call-ups. The people that we want to see, the players that's been in AAA, AA, and partially single A, depending on your situation, will get to come up for about another month to pretty much fill up the roster, which expands from 25 to 40. So wow, all right. So with that being said, here you go. Washington, Chicago, the Dodgers. They're holding serve in their respective divisions. However, if you want to look at where it's close at, the closest is the American League. Yeah, right now the Yankees and the Twins are holding serve in the wild card. But, however, 1, 2, 3. Yes, after that you have 6 teams in the American League that are within 4 games of the last and final spot in the American League wildcard. You heard me right. 6 teams. The Orioles, the Los Angeles Angels, the Rangers, the Rays, Seattle Mariners, and the Kansas City Royals. Albeit the Royals are 2 games under 500, this is something if you like drama and you want to see a good race, this is a good race to look at. It's the American League. 6 teams within 4 games of the American League wild card is something to check out. Also the National is kind of it. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. Milwaukee, the Mariners, and St. Louis, they're still in it first because you have Arizona, Colorado, just running that. But I expect those 2 teams, Arizona and Colorado, to just run away with the wild card. I expect it. But I'm telling you right now, watch out for the Dodgers. Watch out for the Astros. those two teams, particularly the Dodgers, which is the best team in baseball, I'll tell you right now, I'm pitching my wagon right now, honestly, on the Dodgers because I think that the Dodgers been knocking at the door long enough and I think this is their time. They have not won a World Series since 1988. That would, for those of you that know baseball, that's the Kirk Gibson home run. So with that being said, watch out for the Dodgers. They're for real. They are for real.
All right, that was Matt's baseball update. We're gonna move on. We're gonna skip one question. Save the fun question for last. So Matt, Le'Veon Bell finally reported to Steelers camp as he said he would on the 1st of September. So is this kind of holding out to save yourself going to become more popular in the NFL now that Le'Veon Bell did it and he's going to get $12 billion for his trouble? Go ahead, Matt.
Wait, you tell me, mind you, even though sometimes I've been living under a rock, you're telling me Le'Veon Bell held out until September 1st for safety reasons? You kidding me, right? Well, National Football League. You see, it's as though, first of all, let me stop. Let's back up. Preseason is a waste anyway. Honestly, let's call it for what it is. Preseason football. Listen to it on WIP today. It's a bad product. I mean, you're basically watching 4 games of glorified job interviews. That's what you're looking at. Job interviews. Now, I hope this is not a trend with what Le'Veon Bell is doing. I hope this is not a trend. But if this becomes a trend, I think the Players Association has to start paying attention, and the owners may have to start paying attention. Players are worried about their health more than the organization themselves, let alone the league. I don't like it, honestly. I'm not a fan of it, but I understand what Le'Veon Bell is doing. He wants to preserve himself, and him being a running back, the shelf life of a running back is very short. I think he's pushing 30 in his 30s or something like that. I don't remember his age, but which, by the way, I've had I don't have in my fantasy, and we're gonna have problems. But anyway, I hope this doesn't become a trend. But if it does, I think by the time the next CBA comes up, this has to be addressed. Players, I know the NFL is doing, air quote, whatever they can, end quote, to ensure player safety. But in my view, I do not believe and I do not think that, player safety is being looked at as a with bigger priority. I think 4 games of preseason football is too long. I really do believe that they need to shorten the preseason. Shorten the preseason because honestly, it's a busted product for the consumer. And as a fan, I mean, I don't mind, watching a game or 2 to get myself ready for football season. I don't need 4 games. I really don't need it. So I mean, to me, preseason is like, the appetizer, because the entree's coming. 16 games of pure, unadulterated mayhem is coming. I don't mind at least 2, if not 3, 2 preseason games. I don't mind it. well, I'm getting off topic here. But the fact is, I don't mind him preserving his body. I don't, but I hope this does not become a trend. I really hope that this does not become a trend. If it does, this is something that the NFL needs to look at. The Players Association needs to look at it, look deep into it, because there may be more than what meets the eye. This is not just sitting out because of franchise tag, which they need to get it rid of anyway, but this is body self-preservation. You're going through 16 games of pure unadulterated hell. So I understand it. I don't agree with it, but this is something I think the league and the Players Association both need to look at this and look at it as a player safety issue. This man is worried about his health. He is more worried about life after football and the hits that he's taking, particularly in the head region.
I definitely think. First off, hand clap emojis or physical hand claps to Le'Veon Bell for gaming the system. He knew that he was going to get his money regardless. He was going to get his $12 million. No sense of worrying about being the second highest, or I think maybe the highest paid running back this year, about with that $12 million franchise tag, which I agree with Matt needs to be gotten rid of. But we're going to get to that topic later. But I think he's a smart person. I mean, I think more people should have done that. I think Odell Beckham should have done that, especially obviously he plays for our rival team, but you hate seeing somebody as big as that with some star power have to miss the first 2 to 4 weeks of the NFL season now because of a dumb injury that he picked up because somebody was like an undrafted rookie wanted to make an impression, went low on Odell and caused him to have an ankle injury. So I think more players are going to do that, especially after seeing what happened to Odell Beckham this preseason. I think a lot more players. I think Odell himself will probably hold out next year because he's only got a year left of his rookie deal, which means that he's definitely holding out next year. I think that preseason should go, and I think it's definitely smart. I'm like Matt. I don't hope it becomes a trend, but these players got to look out for themselves because the NFL definitely is not looking out for them. So I fully understand it. I fully applaud it. I am happy for Le'Veon Bell. I don't want this to be a trend, but it seems like it's going to become a trend, sort of like what Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette started in the NCAA thing where they decided to sit out their bowl games. A lot of people are upset, like, why would you sit out your bowl game? Self-preservation. So this will be self-preservation and economics. Why get paid $12 million when it don't count when you can get paid $12 million for 16 weeks and beyond?
And while I'm on the subject of self-preservation, Thursday Night Football has got to go. I'm sorry. I mean, I understand, some people like it because it's more hungry to watch professional football. However, the product stinks. It has got to go. I mean, look, it's making a lot of money, and it's to try to get all 32 teams at one point to play and blah blah blah. We get it, but Thursday Night Football is terrible. Either you need to condense it, either you need just to do something because this is terrible. Like you talk about self-preservation. Think about this. You play Sunday, right? You literally have to rest your body for 2 days. Monday, Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, and then you're fully or partially fully healed by Wednesday, Thursday. By the time Thursday rolls around, you're barely in game shape. You're barely in game shape. So, I mean, albeit, it's a treat, but the product is simply this: those players, they're tired, and I'm not gonna look. I don't want to look at tired talent. Like these guys are giving everything they have, and you're gonna tell me it's Thursday Night Football. This is go ahead, have at it, and I'm watching spectacular talent because bodies aren't rested. Get rid of Thursday Night Football. Shorten the season. In fact, I do like shorten the preseason, and I do like the fact that teams now are, scrimmaging one another during training camp, which leads up to their game. And I think, you know what? That's a great idea. Still have 4 weeks of preseason, but condense it to 2 games. That's where I think that's where it should be. Albeit they may lose some money. Look, NFL may lose some money, but you know what? If you want good product and if you really want excellence on the field and you want longevity, and there's nothing longevity. Do right by the players and get rid of Thursday Night Football and get rid of at least 2 preseason games. Get rid of it.
Well, we know they won't get rid of the 2 preseason games, but they can definitely get rid of Thursday Night Football, switch it to Saturday Night Football.
Oh, no. See, that's the problem. Friday Night Football is high school. Saturday Football is college. Sunday and Monday Night Football is the NFL. And in fact, they should put more energy into revamping Monday Night Football and just get rid of Thursday altogether.
True. All right, moving right along. So we kind of blew our load on this one already. Will the Eagles sign Colin Kaepernick? I'll start. This man already made his feelings known. The Eagles should sign Colin Kaepernick. They just released Matt McGloin, which means they need another quarterback. And Nick Foles is obviously too injury prone, so really they need two quarterbacks. So they need to put Matt Foles, Nick Foles on injury reserve, get 2 quarterbacks, make one of those Colin Kaepernick to be the backup for Carson Wentz, get him in. Jeff Lloyd, the Eagles are big enough. They're the third most profitable franchise in the league, so we'll be fine. Definitely, they need to sign Colin Kaepernick. It would behoove them to sign Colin Kaepernick because they need backups. So yeah, just strictly on a logic argument, they need Colin Kaepernick. And Philadelphia is the perfect place. It wouldn't be the first time that we gave somebody a chance, even though this time my man Colin Kaepernick, and I will continue to do this every podcast because some of y'all act like some people who've been on the internet acting like Obama was president during Katrina in 2006. In 2005, 2006. No, he was not the president. Just to be clear. And no matter how much you may think he is, Colin Kaepernick is not a criminal, so he deserves a second chance, and it would be perfect with the Eagles. Go ahead, Matt.
Colin Kaepernick will give you, God forbid, if Carson Wentz get hurt, at least you have a Super Bowl quarterback on your roster who knows the West Coast offense enough to. We're watching Andy Reid offense 2.0 for real. Let's call it for what it is. You have to give yourself a chance. I am all for signing that man to a 1-year deal right now. I'm all for it. It's not just the fact that it's just save face in the NFL, but let's like you said, let's think logically here. Number one, Matt McGloin looked terrible. He looked awful in preseason. I ain't on front. I mean, it's just like, I don't want him near my team. That's what it was. I don't know what Oakland was thinking, but even watching um, him in Oakland backing up David Carr, it just looked awful, flat out awful. And I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I wasn't impressed at all. I mean, geez, if you don't play the position, at least play it well. And McGloin didn't give himself. He gave himself. No, the Eagles gave him every ample opportunity to, showcase the talents and everything else. He just looked awful, awful in preseason. So I don't know why I cut him too. If it was number 7, look, number 7 Kaepernick should be on that uniform. Not McGloin. My gosh, he was just terrible. But I'm all for signing that man because with signing him, at least it gives you a chance to stay in the game. It gives you a chance. I mean, yes, Carson Wentz is a scrambler too, but also, believe it, also, Colin Kaepernick, who's a scrambler, who's also a scrambler. I mean, dude, the fact that, from a football standpoint, I go for it. I would do it. It's a 1-year deal. I mean, look, if you have to cut him for roster reasons, fine. But at least, for the most part, and not just he was protesting, whatever, but for football reasons, for actual football reasons. But I'm all for it. If depending on the cap, it's probably a 1 year, I would say 1 year, $6 million, 1 year, $6-7 million. I would do it. 7.5 at the most, with at least 3-4 guaranteed. But you got to do it. You owe it to yourself to give yourself a chance to win a ball game. To pretty much beat you have a tough schedule in the first half of the season. You got to give yourself a chance. And I'm the Eagles. I'd do it. Now, I mean, if you're look, I'm telling y'all, we can go 2 for 2 here. Look what we did with Michael Vick. 2 for 2. We can do this. Look, Harry Roseman, do the deal, bruh. Do the deal.
So, all right, moving into our last Colin Kaepernick and NFL question. How will history remember Colin Kaepernick? Go ahead, Matt.
Unfortunately, right now, we see now. Excuse me. First of all, the way I see it is, when he first came in the league, everybody was doing the Kaepernicking, where he's just flexing his elbows, kissing his muscles, stuff like that. Flexing his arm, excuse me. He broke in the league. I mean, he was a guy that you really had to game plan against, particularly with his scrambling ability. I believe that, he can still, there's some parts of his game he still needs to work on, but his scrambling abilities was his best, is one of the best I've ever seen. Is one of the best. Unfortunately, he'll be remembered this. He'll be remembered by this. Let's say about this. Joe Namath was remembered by him being a bachelor and a swinger. Everybody knows about Johnny Unitas and how clean and crew cut and pretty much how precise he was. Everybody remembers Brett Favre and how much of a gunslinger he really was, and etc. Colin Kaepernick will be remembered by this. He was a quarterback who was more socially conscious than everybody else, and that's what it's going to be remembered by. Not like, if anything, it's like Jim Moore. Everybody, look, if anything to remember about Jim Moore is the fact he's the one he's remembered by saying playoffs. Unfortunately, that's where Colin Kaepernick is going to be remembered as. with this incident. Everybody remembers Tim Tebow, the fact that a man who throws weirdly for a lefty, out of nowhere can win a game. And oh, by the way, he was a terrible quarterback, but he just needed the right coaching. But if anything else, this is how he's going to be remembered: is the fact that yes, he's a scrambling quarterback, a Super Bowl quarterback that took a knee for a social cause. That's how it's going to be remembered, unfortunately.
Matt, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still alive. I ain't dead yet. Oh. Uh, let's see here. While we are waiting, well, we are waiting for the host to come back. Um, I mean, I'll expand on a little more on this. You have to remember this. Particularly in the National Football League, Jim Brown, one of them. I mean, a lot of people respected Jim Brown, albeit on the field, he was a tough, no nonsense type of player for the Cleveland Browns. Now, off the field, since he had now the fact that he retired on his own terms was, dope in its own right. And then, of course, he became an actor and and done all sorts of other causes and everything else. But the one thing about Jim Brown that, watching interviews and everything else, he maintained himself. He didn't, pander to. He didn't pander to. How can I put this? He didn't pander to, you know, kissing up to anyone else. Yeah, Paul Brown was his owner. Was his no, geez, what sounds bad. Paul Brown ran the team, but everybody knew he was respected. So everybody respected Jim Brown. Everybody respected. He was a leader. He was a leader. And watching those 49ers games, not the one with Chip Kelly running the show. I mean, geez Louise, Chip Kelly just ran the team down the ground. Now he's going to run ESPN down the ground. Oops. It is. I mean, look, we all know for the Eagles, this is Carson Wentz's team. I'm not here advocate. I'm not gonna sit here advocate. Well, you should sign a 2-year deal. No, a 1-year deal is enough. A 1-year deal is enough.
It's enough.
So, Colin's back. So, Colin, we're still on still on Colin. Mr. Kaepernick, we are waiting for your reply, kind sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think history will remember him. To me, I think he'll be remembered fondly because I think he'll be the start of, or not the start, but the reawakening. I think him, LeBron James, Serena Williams, and others will be the reawakening of the African American athlete, because it really was LeBron who started this. Like I said last podcast, through the through what he did in Miami after the Trayvon Martin stuff. So I believe that he will continue that and continue it through that. And I think history will remember him fondly. I think we probably disagree on this because I know you started from what I heard before the connection got screwy. Was you think that he won't be remembered well because of how he was basically disavowed from the league. But I think that for him, I think history will be kinder to him than the NFL owners were. So that's my stance on it. I think that he's part of the Mount Rushmore of what happened from 2017, the later half of the 2000s decade or the second decade of the 2000s, the reawakening of the black athlete. Yeah, I think that's what he'll be a part of and what he'll be known for. And unfortunately, he may have lost his NFL career for it, but somebody had to do it, and some people are built for this, and I guess Colin Kaepernick is built for this.